And to put it bluntly, I was forced to be married to this man that I really could not stand to be in the same room with. You do it for your younger brother because it's going to help his wife. You do it for your older brother because it's going to help him stay. And so you do the best that you possibly can. And, I've always preached and I always believe, and I still believe, that blessing is forever. And blessing is forever provided that both parties uphold the value of the blessing. I certainly was not in a situation like Nan Sook, who knew full well of the kind of a marriage that she was entering. She knew my brother was an alcoholic. She knew my brother had numerous relationships. She knew my brother had deep problems with drugs. And she lived with me at Songpa-dong. My room was right next to my older brother when I went to school at Little Angel School for about a year. So she was well aware of all his problems. And so when she got married to him, she knew the kind of a blessing she was entering into. I, however, never wanted to subscribe to a blessing where all of these things were in play, and certainly didn't want it, certainly didn't want to be a part of it. Unfortunately, I married somebody who did have these problems. And the first 21 days of my life, I tried my best to talk to my mother and express to her my difficulties. But, back in those days, you do what you do because you're blessed. You're publicly blessed. So you live with it, you suck it up, and you just deal with it. And at the same time, I knew that if I talked to my mother, then she being so naive and the transparent parents, she would immediately turn to different prayer ladies and ask them to pray for me. So my personal problems would be podcast to everybody in the church. And so you learn very quickly on to deal with your own problems, not to talk to father and mother, and you try the best that you can. But throughout all these years, he's a lawyer, and he's never really been clear with me. And every time we talked about the matter, it was always deflection and denial. And but when his life kind of spiraled out of control to the point that he was incredibly skeletal, and he obviously had problems, but he was denying till the end. And so I finally had to cut his hair while he was sleeping and send his hair sample to a lab. And only when I got back the lab results did I tell him, I know all the things that are in your body. You are not in a good place. You have patches of what looks like tar coming out of your body. And even with that situation, he was still denying everything. And so I said, you've made a mess of Paradigm, the company that you are running. Your body is repelling everything that you're putting in. So you need to go to rehab with me. And at that time, because I had something in writing, he thought, okay, well, he's going to use this to divorce me. And I said, we'll see about that, but first you need to go. And the way I was operating, I was your classic codependent. I hid his problems as much as I possibly can. I cleaned him up. When he got messy, I tried to pretend and smile through all the public events of True Family, pretending that there was no problem. And you do the best that you can because for the sake of the kids. And that is part of the reason why I took my children up to Boston 15 years ago. It was my family and my older brother's family living at the old house. And, Nan Sook was not the most supportive or the nicest person. And then I had my older brother and Jane, who was living a very difficult and a different lifestyle from the one I wanted. And so, as upset and angry as my father was for the first 10 years that I lived up in Boston, he would scream at me for 3-4 hours every time I came back home to wish him happy birthday or to wish him happy birthday. Father was extremely angry. In a way, I'm hoping that my marriage and the dissolution of my marriage thereafter can be a good example of what not to do to our kids and what not to do to the future best couples of our movement. Forcing people into marriages is not right. Political marriages is not right. What I've been pushed to do, which is really simply nothing other than institutional rape, is not right. With two people standing outside your door because they're afraid you're going to run away. That is not right. And not wanting to deal with the consequences of your actions of forcing two people into marriage is not right. And not having support and not being nurturing while your child is trying to deal with what you cram down their throats is not right either. And so I think a lot of people are shocked by my decisions, but I believe that true parents must be Messiah, and they must be the true parents because they have a whole lot to deal with. And I think they have 14 children who are opinionated, who are strong, and who are courageous, because true parents also need to learn too. And as shocking as it was for my mother to hear my story, my last 30 years of marriage, which I have never spoken to her about, she had to learn too. And a lot of people think that, In Jin Moon is just acting on her own behalf and she's just doing whatever she wants. No, I'm not doing whatever I want. I am not some silly teenage girl who fell head over heels in love with some man and is doing silly things.